I would say connected television is obviously past the tipping point in terms of its penetration across American households. At this point, mostly everyone can access a streaming platform to digest whatever content they like, and that means it's an imperative place for DTC brands to be and advertise and find their audience. I think there's so much power within CTV in being able to find your exact audience, unlike traditional television. The power of CTV, in my opinion, is it's the best of display and digital and search, in that you can find exactly the user you're looking to find, the viewer, the target audience, and then reach them with a targeted ad. But it also has, obviously, the reach of TV, the ability to reach a wide amount of people very, very quickly. The challenge, of course, is cost. And I think with performance advertisers, direct-to-consumer brands, even DR, direct response brands, they often had to rely on the traditional methods of advertising on digital, like Facebook and Instagram, search and display, because it's measurable and it's cheap for the most part, and obviously quite targetable. But in television, they've always had the avenue of direct response television, where you're buying remnant inventory and overnights. You don't have any short predictability around where you're going to be running. However, there is tried and true methods of measuring and attributing success there through kind of what I'd call now old school solutions, like a last spot aired or a station waiting. So it presented a very unique opportunity for me, having spent time at Hulu working on the performance marketing offering there, and coming into the programmatic space for the first time, where obviously there's the ability to automate your buy, see in real time where you're running, and hopefully how it's performing, depending on what type of measurement and attribution you have in place. But the challenge, again, was price. The barrier to entry in terms of CPM was just a bit too much for brands to test and learn, to find out what works on CTV, because again, it's just such an essential place to reach that target audience, because it's such a solid environment to have your ad resonate. People are purposefully viewing, they're leaned in. See the pup in the background. He's interested. So he's super into it. CTV, it's the new frontier. It's the future, right? But again, how do we make it work? And I think the platform that Magnite and the ability to aggregate connected television supply for the first time ever at cost efficiency, at floor pricing and rates that are on parity with what you would ultimately achieve if going direct to a publisher and or buying similar like inventory on television. But on top of that, now with the ability to layer on targeting to address an audience at a DR performance CPM, and be able to compile a custom list of publishers you want to run on with one deal is such a powerful thing. And I think is a brand new idea and method of transacting for performance advertisers, providing them the ability to measure in real time, scale across CTV and find out what works, and ultimately make deeper partnerships with those publishers and those pieces of content that they know is performing for their brand and paying out against their KPIs. Our marketplace allows them to test and learn. Ultimately, it's a blank canvas on which they get to paint and test in multiple ways until they find that magic potion.
Okay, so you mentioned a lot there about how television used to work, about how direct response advertisers used to buy, remnant time, perhaps in the middle of the night, that kind of thing. But now with connected television, for what you're saying is that there's just much more inventory available and it's targetable, and you have a solution for how to do that.
The amazing thing is that with connected television, the more people who are watching means the more impressions that are available to serve. And in many ways, as more and more people watch their content on connected television, there's going to be even more and more inventory available. And we found a solution at Magnite that allows us to benefit those publishers who might not be sold out and help monetize what would have been unsold inventory, and provide the ability for them to monetize it with these wonderful direct-to-consumer, up-and-coming startup brands, but brands that ultimately, again, need cost efficiency in order to test and learn, and ultimately find what works, and then invest more and see success against their bottom line. So our marketplace does just that. It benefits publishers because we're helping them monetize what would have been unsold inventory as connected television viewership increases and there are more and more impressions available. But most importantly, for performance brands and advertisers, we're eliminating that barrier to entry so that they can now, for the first time, in a programmatic environment, be able to target their exact audience that they're looking to address their buy in an automated fashion via their DSP. And curate a custom list of publishers together with one deal, being able to scale across the CTV environment, outside of maybe the Hulus and the Plutos of the world that they might already be testing, and find out what else works and find that reach and power of TV with the addressability and measurement ability of digital, which is, I think, a very valuable tool for these advertisers.
That's really interesting. Now, looking ahead to the next 6 months to a year, is there anything you expect to see happen in this space, or is there anything you'd like to see happen? Perhaps something that's on your wish list?
Well, I think as we've evolved, we've started to make some wonderful partnerships with some of the leading performance agencies, specifically Mountain, who's leading the way in how these types of advertisers are able to buy, but most importantly, measure success and scale from there. We are actively discussing ways that we can partner further via our product team, being able to share data in unique ways that allows them to make decisions in real time, obviously optimizing their buy and ultimately driving better performance for their clients and brands. There's so much potential at our fingertips now with a company like Magnite and a company like Mountain, both of us in a very unique position where we sit right at the supply side, have a wonderful understanding of all the users across our publishers. As third-party cookies go away, as targeting ability will evolve and change, we are sitting at the pilot seat of how the new world is going to go. I think folks like Mountain, who finding their target audience and finding out what corners and pockets of the CTV landscape work for them, are going to need to partner with folks like us. And we love partnering with folks like them to find that magic solution. And I think it's right now. That's what's beautiful about it. We ask what's going to happen in the future. The future is now. And I think we see that every day. Netflix is now serving ads. More and more people every single day is evolving the way they watch connected television. When you look at the demographic makeup, 65 plus is not just on Fox News, on cable TV, or on linear broadcast. They are very much streaming as actively as millennials and Gen Z and boomers. So the opportunity is sitting right in front of us for partners like Mountain to work with entities like us at Magnite, where we could utilize the power of our platform, the data of aggregating publishers across the spectrum to empower their buy and ultimately, again, drive performance for their partners and clients.